But here we're going to be off at least the month of January. We won't be here. February is strange because Joe Arcangelini has been threatening to come here and stay with me during the month of February. So if he does, he may be here.
Oh, he might be coming the entire month because he's also even
A good chunk of it.
Oh, no kidding. Cool.
If he comes,
couple weeks.
okay, tell him to hit me up about draw. He said he was going to be in the area, but just for a week.
Yeah, the problem with him, I thought about you too, is that he starts his trip like around the 15th. So it's just based on where it is in the month, it would be hard to catch him. But
Well,
do you think
I'll
you
shoot him a message.
yeah. All right. And so with that, I want to ask anyone, do they have any messages for anyone here before we get going tonight? When we get into January, when we come back, I'm going to pick that date. Well, no, we won't be here in January, but I will have Jason make our next announcement about when we are going to be here, which is a few months off. Not to freak him out, he's got his own deal. But, all right, so I'm just going to welcome up our features for this evening. James Hamilton was supposed to be here from Wisconsin. He got a hold of me about a day and a half ago and said that he wasn't going to be able to make it. And so hopefully we see him again in the future. So for tonight, what we will have is black licorice candy. And also we will have Agnes and we will have Caitlin. Do either of you guys have a preference as to when you'd like to read?
Sure. I don't have a preference.
You going first?
Yeah.
All right, so with that, Caitlin is gonna go first. You want some of these candies? All right, I offered, I did offer.
I do appreciate the offer. I am anti-licorice in all forms.
I'm pro-licorice.
No.
Every form.
I appreciate that, but I'll say it all for you. Anti-licorice in all forms.
Your hatred.
Sorry. So sorry. I have a friend at work who's like, loves Twizzlers, right? She's always bringing me new Twizzlers to try. She's like, here, try this orange creamsicle Twizzler. Here, try that. And I'm like,
Does
okay.
she work for the company?
Yeah, she works for Twizzlers. No, she works with me at MRPC.
Oh, okay.
She just loves Twizzlers, and she's convinced she will find one that I will also like. No.
I would like to meet her just because she sounds odd.
She's awesome.
Sounds like you have your mind made up on this.
I do have my mind made up on this. She's actually the lady who painted the, what used to be the ABC store downtown, and has been doing the paintings on Macy's and Erica Smith's is that lady. Fantastic artist. Fantastic artist, yes. I hear you spoke with her today, and she's wonderful. We love her. With that, sorry to get off the track, but good to be here, guys. Thank you so much for having me. As always, this is my home. This is the group that kicked everything off for me, made everything possible, and then led to not one, but two books. This is this group right here, so I appreciate it. With that, I'm going to read one out of my first book tonight. And actually, I had my mom I couldn't decide what I wanted to read, so I had her pick a number, and this is the one she picked. So, sorry, we're going to start off a little melodramatic. Modern Day Scarlet Letter. I don't feel good. I don't feel good, and I'm tired. And I am tired all the time. But I sleep all the time, and I just don't feel good. And my body hurts all over, but it isn't the kind of pain that can be solved with Tylenol and an ice pack. I don't feel right. She says you're just sad, and I say, you're probably right. It's just a bad day. Then I give her a forced smile so she isn't obligated to worry because God forbid someone worry about the sad people. My doctor says depression, and I shrink back as though branded with a scarlet letter. She prescribes antidepressants, and that thing that made me, is stripped away by one dose daily. The pill touches my tongue, and I sign away the contract on my personality. The number one side effect, suicidal tendencies. I didn't realize they could bottle your worst nightmares and call it an effective treatment. And with that, I promise I'm gonna keep it light with the rest of them because, you know, it's around Christmas, which is one of my favorite times. And I absolutely love everything about this time of year, except for it getting so dark so quickly. And the only thing good about that is you can see the Christmas lights sooner. So with that, the first one I'm gonna read is called Wish List. I wrote it this time last year at Christmas, and it was based off of a question my mom gave me about what do you want for Christmas? And if anybody remembers this time last year, which, thank God, she does not, my mom was in the hospital, in and out of the hospital a lot, so this is wish list. You say I'm hard to shop for and you want me to give you a wish list. You need ideas, asking multiple times, and the best I can tell you is, I don't know. Whatever you want to do, and you really don't need to. But you say, I have to tell you something. You see, here's the problem. How do I ask for what I really want? How do you ask someone for peace and quiet? But not peace and quiet from external stimuli, but peace and quiet from the 24/7 internal monologue. Peace and quiet from the negative, from the soul-crushing depression, the constant barrage of mental harm you inflict on yourself. You can't. So I tell you I don't know. Just like I can't ask you to live forever. To live forever because so that I no longer have to worry, because a world in which you aren't a phone call away makes no sense to me. How do you ask others for companionship so that your home doesn't feel like solitary confinement and your heart finally has someone to call its better half? So that the load isn't quite so heavy when shouldered by another. How do you ask people to quit piling more and more and more and more? And then how do you ask your mind to stop berating itself for not helping those people? Labeling yourself as a failure because you can't be everything for everyone all the time. It's impossible. So instead, I say, I don't know. You can really do whatever. Sorry about the stumble there. That one got me just a little bit. Because the idea of not having my mom is a really tough one. And thankfully, she's doing just fine. And we're going to have a really good Christmas this year. So the next piece is actually the title piece of the book. It's called You Are Enough. You are enough. Write it down, do it again, mentally inscribe it inside of your brain, scream it into a mirror until your lungs know only that. Write it in Sharpie on your body. Carve it into the walls around you if you must, but never carve it into yourself. Say it so often that those around you never doubted its validity. And then believe it yourself. This book actually had color photos printed inside of it with it. These are my images. And I love being able to pair poetry with photos. And this is Galveston Island at sunset. And so the poem is called Beauty at Dusk. A calming peace, soothing tones, a stillness descended upon the day. A visual cue of transitional change, the world saying, even bad days have to end. So I really got to enjoy doing that kind of thing, pairing it up. And the other thing I like to do is for work, I am a graphic designer. And so I made some pieces where I overlaid the poetry right on the picture, which I thought was kind of fun and an interesting way to display poems. So this poem is called Burnout, and it's billions of undeniable reasons, not obstacles, for unbelievable transformations. Burnout. that because we just had a conversation, or we were having a conversation, about pieces that don't necessarily translate as well when you're speaking out loud, right? I think these pieces don't translate necessarily as well unless you can actually see it. So it's something to keep in mind when you're buying poetry or buying art from other people, is maybe it doesn't sell as well in front of people when you're talking about it, but when you crack it open, there's all kinds of goodies. So, just something to share. With that, I'm going to read a piece called Rewriting History because it's one of my favorites out of this book, and I just love getting to perform it, so it's the opposite side of the coin. Rewriting History. What it must be like living in a world created by your own psyche, rewriting history, painting me as a vaudevillian villain vilified by the very words you put in my mouth. Caution, no open flame. The fumes from your gaslighting might ignite a Hiroshima-sized mushroom cloud where the fallout is entirely my fault. Because God forbid blame be placed in equity, we are two opposing parties, but only one will be the villain in your history. Don't worry though, never again will I offer you poisoned apples disguised as advice, or bother you with my company so I can suck the lifeblood from you, leaving you, as you said, feeling shitty about yourself. What it must be like to never be wrong, to always be in the right, to be a messiah because your holier-than-thou God complex has years of interactions boiled down to one misinterpretation causing a rift so large I'm Thanos'd from your life. And to be honest, the only reason I like reading that one is because who doesn't want to get to say vaudevillian villain vilified, right? Who doesn't want to get to read that? So I appreciate you guys humoring me with that one because I know just about every person in this room has heard it before. Anyway, the next piece I'm going to share is called Struggling Millennial, and I think probably most people have heard this one too. I am just a hashtag struggling millennial trying to make it impulse buying my way through depressive episodes because hashtag YOLO. But YOLO isn't just a phrase for us because fuck it if we want to ride this roller coaster more than once. Living through historical event after historical event, we're numb. But that's okay because our default at birth was numb, and every day we've tried to spin that dial to feel other emotions. The older generations call us lazy, but they mistake lazy for tired. Tired of trying to survive in a world that is no longer designed for the white picket fence dream. Okay, and before I end on my last one, I thought I would do kind of a fun little thing and let somebody pick a number between 9 and 90.
86.
37 and 86. We'll see if you've read one on either of those pages. Or we'll do both. We'll see how short they are. Ooh. I don't know if she picked this one just because she knows what's on this page.
That was my math teacher's favorite number.
Oh, okay. Well, page 37 is called Night Demons, and it's about my fear of sharks. Yeah. It's always sharks. They swim into my head, their hunger for me, part of my galeophobia. The undoubtable knowledge sharks are out to end me, specifically targeting me, patiently waiting for their chance, and because of this, my brain cruelly uses it to its advantage. Elaborate scenes of forced ocean interaction, their constant presence stalking me. Always there, jaws extending, razor-sharp teeth, breaching from the water in impressive predatory displays. Looking for any way to get their prey. The panic is real. The scenario is not. But my brain can't understand that. I'm trapped in a watery hell, night demons circling and rippling at my psyche, and in the final moment before death, my body will wake out of a need of self-preservation. But my mind still refuses to believe. Paralyzed, the demons now circle my bed. In the quiet darkness of my room, I can hear the water, ripples from massive bodies breaking the surface. My bed undoubtedly now floats in. They are waiting, a trap. But the real trap is in my mind, its inability to see reason through fear, its brain's 100% conviction to the idea that sharks swim around beds with no water. They live under floorboards and can breach through carpet. Eventually, the waking, rational brain will start to move the body, will force logic into the situation and allow for rational thought to be the shark cage that I must live in for protection. But sleep will not return, because you know if you close your eyes, they live in the deep, in the dark, camouflage natural-born predators, and you are the prey they crave. You said 86, right?
I did.
Okay, 86. I think I have enough time right now. Perfect. I would like for my fingers to work. That's what I think. It's funny you picked this one, John, because I actually debated reading this one earlier. So here it goes. It's called Don't Give Up on Me. You've hit what feels like rock bottom and that you couldn't possibly go any lower. You question whether it's worth it to drag yourself through another day. Don't give up on me, please. I can guarantee you won't experience more pain, hurt, or sorrow. I can't guarantee you won't feel the bottom give out on you again like so many times before. But what I can guarantee is opportunities missed, milestones missed, and an even better version of yourself missed. I can tell you there will be moments of joy and pure bliss that have you soaring through the canopy of all the bad things hanging over your head. You will do things you never thought possible, pushing yourself further than you ever thought you'd go and making memories that overshadow those bad ones. Eventually, you will find your way in this world. You will find your tribe who love you unconditionally, wanting the very best for you. And you do this yourself by pulling up from the bottom with love and support of those that you finally learn to let in. Your future becomes brighter and your days grow clearer and the negatives become less overwhelming. So please, don't give up on me. Much love, future you. And with that, I will end it on unsolicited advice. This is the last piece in the book. And I have finished every reading this year since the release with this piece because I think it's important. It is okay to love yourself. It is okay to be broken. It is okay if you need a break. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to put yourself first. But it is never okay to give up.
See, Caitlin, just the fact that you're here and you have that second book, like, that was just another reason to be here still and have something to do. I'm terrible at sentimental stuff like that, but it's wonderful. And all you can do for yourself is then be like, well, okay, I'll stick around till book 3, and then, you know, by that point you're old and like you're crabby for entirely different reasons than but glad that you're here, Caitlin. Yeah. All right. And so, man, that's been weird all day. My brain's been jello. So with that, we are going to welcome up our next featured reader, our last featured reader for 2025, who happens to be a good friend of this establishment, Agnes.
Thank you. So I'm going to take the opportunity to make this staircase kind of messed up. And I'm going to read from Love Song to Gravity that came out this summer. And yeah, some of you have heard some of those poems before, but I'll read them anyway. So thank you for having me. And I want to start with the title poem, The river is the love song, water sings to gravity. Follow the current. The trees bow in reverence, touch the water like prayer. The river is the love song, water sings to gravity. Springs seep from bluffs, rivulets tickle the stream. Fern and moss hang heavy. You can lose yourself. Carry only the necessities. Notice how little you need. Ferry only what belongs here. Thoughts can weigh you down and make you drown. And don't clap after each poem. I'll just read the entire poem. The next one is a pantoum, and for those of you who are not familiar with the term, it's a poem where the second and the fourth line of the stanza become the first and third line of the next stanza, and so on and so forth. Only I'm taking some liberties with it, but there is no pantoum police. So any day you see an eagle is a good day. I have lost something I cannot name. I go to the river and wait. Perhaps I will find it. Perhaps I will learn to do without. And wait. I have nothing to do but to pay attention. I will learn to do without the daily clutter and clamor. There is nothing to do but to pay attention. Paying attention is a remedy for the clutter and clamor in my mind. I watch a snail on a lobelia lip. Paying attention is an antidote for apathy and sadness. I watched a snail on the lobelia lip, its translucent shell a perfect spiral, and forget apathy and sadness. The wood duck leads her ducklings close to shore. The snail's shell is a translucent spiral. The ducks weave through the water willows. Led by their mother close to shore, an eagle perches on a sycamore. The ducklings hide between the water willows. The eagle sits in silence. He unfolds his wings and lifts off from the sycamore. I have forgotten what I had lost. I saw an eagle, unfolded my grief, found something I cannot name. So some of those poems, there it mentions the word grief. If you read my last book, Oracle for Dreams, you know that my father died in 2021, and so there are some poems about that, and I'm just going to read two of those. I don't want to make it too sad. The Pope Coffin. I do not know whether Dad believed in heaven. He had a sense for the sacred. Sometimes all you see is the fruit. The root remains secret. My father never discussed death, except to say he wanted a coffin like Pope John Paul II. Clear lines, no frivolous embellishments, an architect's choice. The minister spoke about the city to come, solemn and hopeful, consoling, without the saccharine promises Dad would have hated. One must leave space for uncertainty. And if you've mourned somebody, you know that the grief comes often in waves when you least expect it. The topography of grief. The topography of grief is karst, riddled with sinkholes that suddenly open under your feet, swallow you whole. I don't know what I expected to feel. Not this emptiness, not nothing. I don't cry at the sight of my dad's signature. The letter from probate court I've been expecting. I know what it contains, a form letter and a copy of Dad's will. I cry when I pack his chessboard, lay the wooden pieces to rest in their velvet-lined compartments, close the box, latch the lid. I have a bunch of poems in here about gardening. So I started gardening 5 years ago, and some of you know that I go work with Mimi a few times a week in the summer. So I learned a lot about gardening from her. Credo. I believe in the resurrection of green, the miracle of compost, the mystery of the seed, burial ground turning cradle. Light bursts every shell open. No gardener can doubt the abundance of grace. And there are several poems in here that have to do with, that mention gravity. I'm a physicist, but the poems are not physicsy. And I go home each summer, and some of the poems are about that. And this poem is called We Call It Gravity. Each summer I return. I open the gate and climb the stairs through the garden to the house. My steps quicken. I feel the jolt of coming home, like a comet that gains momentum as it races closer. Even at its aphelion, the comet never loses the memory of the star. And the star does not release the comet from its stenciled ellipse. Why? We call it gravity, but cannot explain why it exists and how it works. Gravity or love. The following poem has a backstory. So I teach physics at the university, and I teach introductory physics for engineers. So I have 500 students each semester, and one of the students complained to very upper administrators that my lectures are outdated because I'm an online lecturer, and they told me when I made the videos I must have a copyright slide, and it has to be the last frame, and it has to be dated. So some of my videos have copyright. I mean, all of the videos had a copyright slide. And then the associate dean orders me to remove those copyright slides on all my lectures because we want to give the students the impression that everything is up to date. And so there are 30 lectures, and each lecture consists of 6 to 10 videos. It was a pain in the butt. And I was so angry because I teach physics that is 300 years old. It's intro physics, nothing has changed. And I was so angry that I had to write a poem. Newton's cat, or my lectures are not outdated. My ears ring with the erratic demands that define ridiculous. I am inclined to decline further assignments. I want to resign. Sick of leaning in, I recline and fantasize about operatic tantrums I will not throw, because I'm sane enough to know that to show my irritation will solve nothing. Instead, I throw on a sweater and head outside. I wield the hedge trimmer like a sword, slash at arborvitae, and you pile branches high on the wheelbarrow. Much depends on it, that trusty conveyance of refuge. I race the machine and the puppet masters before dutifully resuming the tedious task of updating information that is neither expired nor outdated, just published a while ago. Oh, the curse of the internet, where longevity is a flaw and everything must be new and shiny and in fashion dresses as well as ideas. But Sir Isaac has been dead 300 years. And boxes still slide down inclined planes, and jumping cats still follow parabolic trajectories if they are not resting on a bed or a chair, in which case the net force they feel is still zero, just as it was 300 years ago when Newton's cat laid himself down on the paper Newton was writing on, because cats were the same back then too, and nothing about their behavior requires updating. Gravity is honest. As days grow shorter and nights cooler, a surge of energy rushes through the garden. Grass blades stretch, moisture shoots into the tips of the tomato leaves. The basil goes to seed. In parting, summer pushes the last fruits towards ripening. Fall is a metaphor for aging. That has been done before. There's nothing that hasn't been said. Trees shed leaves, water trickles downhill. Gravity is honest. Because Earth's axis tilts, we get less sunlight. That's all. Seasons don't happen for our spiritual insight, but by accident. A cosmic collision knocked Earth off kilter. It also created the moon. We can seek a metaphor in that too, or just observe the forces that make galaxies spiral and black holes coalesce and marvel that we exist at all. To everything there is a season. The evening before the first freeze, I harvest the last of the basil. The wind is blowing the leaves of the oaks. The days will fade from gold to grey. The asters have finished blooming, their seeds ripe to float away. Endings that become beginnings. Last year I coaxed the basil plant over the winter on my windowsill. It died in February. I won't try again. Tomorrow its leaves will be shriveled and black. I cut the last tomatoes for a salad, sliced basil into thin ribbons, a feast to bid goodbye to summer. I'll embrace the season of pumpkins, root vegetables and cabbage. Wait until it is summer again, and the basil grows lush and green, and the farmer brings her first crop of sunworm tomatoes to the market, sweeter from the anticipation, more flavorful because we did without. The title of the next two poems, both borrowed from T.S. Eliot from Four Quartets from Little Gideon, which is my all-time ever favorite poem. See, they depart, and we go with them. The heat broke, and a steady rain fell gently to rescue fields and forests from the drought. I can't remember the last time the sky was grey, the light was dim and cozy, time to retreat indoors, drink tea, bake bread, light the first kindle of the season. We are past equinox, and nightfall comes early. Morning light wakes later. The autumn air is haunted with goodbyes and memories of goodbyes that mark, like cairns, a path across a wide, uncharted realm. My kin, who walked before me, left no footsteps, just memories that float like lanterns and calmly light my way. Through the unknown, remembered gate. The year stumbles towards solstice, a weary pilgrim who longs to reach his destination and rest. But the clocks keep measuring the hours, the bells cannot be unrung, Earth rotation, relentless continuity. We feel time speeding, the years seem shorter, anniversaries follow more closely on each other's heels. Parallels do not intersect in the distance. All saints, all souls, we remember the dead. Soon it is time to light the candle for the shortest night and hope we did enough. And I don't want to end on something that's about death and sadness, so let me, can I do two more?
Sure.
So let me, you can make poetry about pretty much anything. This is about dryer balls. It's called Heartfelt. I put the laundry in the dryer and remember the day we strolled through the town after lunch, not ready to say goodbye. The years of absence had fallen away like dust in a breeze. Confidences came easy. We wandered into a store that sold soaps and wooden brushes. A glass jar with felted dryer balls stood on the windowsill. I told you how the dogs had claimed my old one as a toy. You picked a ball with a rainbow heart and bought it for me. I watched your car disappear down the road. We forgot to take a picture, but I smile and think of you when I open my dryer. And you think that physicists should love chemistry, But if you think that, then you are so mistaken. I hate chemistry. But there is a chemistry poem in here, and I want to close with that one because it's, it's very fitting for the times. It's called Alchemy. Lay the tarnished silver on a piece of aluminum foil in a glass bowl. Sprinkle a spoonful of salt. Pour boiling water over it. Wait. You do not need technical terms like anode and cathode. You do not need to know the chemistry, why sulfur feels a stronger affinity to aluminum and leaves the silver shiny. You can marvel at the magic. I perform the trick in my kitchen. A faint sulfuric odor rises. The silver spiral with the turquoise center I bought from a Navajo artisan in Santa Fe looks like new. If only we could cure the ills of the world with such simple potions. Release what tarnishes souls in a foul-smelling whiff at the wave of a wand. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys both for reading today.